We did want to drop this out. Look, when you want to talk about most important Detroit Lions player, the conversation starts, ends, begins, takes a halftime break, comes back for the second half, all of it with Jared Goff. We all know that. It's a quarterback league. In this league, you are as good as your quarterback. Period, end of story. If you do not have a good quarterback, it's very, very hard to be a good football team. Sure, there's unicorn examples that this chat will probably light up with, that Sam Flano will jump in with, but those are unicorns. By and large, it's a quarterback league. If you got a good one, chances are you're a good team. If you don't, you got trouble. So removing Jared Goff from the conversation, and this is a great question, and I think this will be fluid. I think my answer today might be different than my answer when we do the Chiefs preview in about a month or so. This thing will change, I think. Who's the most important player to this Lions team other than the quarterback?
I think that the way that things have played out, and I go back to the stability, and the one thing that really only bothers me that makes me worried when
D-Mac, hold on. TK85 lighting up the chat board right now. I'm sorry, D-Mac, continue.
Why do you guys take my pick? That's some BS. No. I go offensive line, and the first person I think of is Frank Ragnow. Frank Ragnow being healthy, because we don't have Evan Fox, right? We don't know as far as the back. Him being healthy just solidifies how important, right, starting without the ball, without the snap, but having your guy, because obviously it's Jared Goff, but it's the two. Now it will change. You could look to, certain guys on defense and that, but to me, last year, I want this year Ragnow's toe injury, whatever it is, whatever he's fighting through, but to be healthy. And if he's healthy, then he's barking the orders. To me, he's that general on the offense, which leads into the offensive line and being powerful. So to me, I can't look beyond Frank Ragnow because it's like the security blanket to me, and especially on this offense.
No, and because he's so high level, right?
The highest of levels. When we're talking about, where does Penei Sewell rank and stuff like this, drop 31 other teams, 30 other teams. What is it? Frank Ragnow's arguably top 3 centers in the league at healthy and doing everything else. So to me, that's where they start and they go, because what does it help? Healthy him helps the running game, helps everything else. So to me, it's Ragnow because of, like you said, you talk about gold jacket, he's well on his way.
Spedman, what do you got? I'm curious to get your take on it.
For me, I think it's Aiden Hutchinson, because I think the 3 most important positions in football are quarterback, left tackle, and edge rusher. You need a guy that can protect the quarterback, you need a quarterback, and you need a guy that can kill the quarterback. So if Aiden Hutchinson becomes what we expect him to be, which is a top-tier edge rusher in this league, then it will bode very well for not only the defense but the success of the Lions team.
Because I was told 15 sacks by Sam Flannel.
13.5.
13.5 is actually me and Spenny's exact numbers. I actually stole it from you, Spenny, because that was such a good number. And to the shock of absolutely no one, I agree with Spenny. It is Aiden Hutchinson. I think when we look back, when we look at this defense improving, when you look at this, when you look back as when it all started, it's going to start with Aiden Hutchinson, who, as a rookie, was kind of asked to help elevate a defense which was terrible the year before. And as the season went along, he got better, the defense got better, and now if the only way I think this defense can reach its peak is if Aiden Hutchinson comes out this year and dominates. And I think that he will, and I think that he will be the best and most valuable player on this defense for the next decade. So to me, it's absolutely Aiden Hutchinson.
When I listen to you guys say this, what year did TJ Watt, did Nick Bosa, did these guys that were hoping that Aiden Hutchinson becomes, or our version, when did they become that player that we knew? Is it in the second year? Or is it in the third year? Because just to me, I don't want to. And yes, the pressure, the better he is, the more game record, the more comparables he gets to those guys because of what he's doing on the field. I absolutely agree. I just think this year
You think it's a tick early? It's a tick early for that?
Hair tick early, because to me, it's more where I look at Hutchinson and this year, it's about that unit, right? So whether it's Houston, whether it's Hutchinson or whatever, it's those guys, like Spenny said, those edge rushers getting pressure. But this year, I'm willing to add up all their totals together. I think it's a team. Then you see, as a unit, they're confident in the system they play, then they can just caveat around it. Once they get comfortable with what they're doing, and that goes with the defensive line and the tackles and the linebackers, then it just opens them up. So my question is when, how many, isn't it like 3 years in?
So Nick Bosa in his second season, it was his third year, but his second season he was hurt. He only played 2 games. So in his second full season, he had 15.5 sacks. And T.J. Watt in year 2 had 13 sacks.
Okay, so it's not above. If he's going to be this guy, this is the year.
Yeah.
But we're talking about Hall of Fame guys, right? Like you know what I'm saying? We're talking about the conversation we just had about it gets to the next level. So you'll see it there. But I'm not personally putting that pressure. I'm putting it on the unit this year because we still got to stop the run. We still got to solidify all this other stuff. Then the next year is where to blow it out. So there's a comparable that if he hits, Sam, what do you have his sacks at? Like around 13?
I have 13.5.
So there you go. If he does it, then you can, boom, Sam, there you got your argument. Hey, it's T.J. Watt. Look, he's right there. Whatever like that. But I'm not willing. It's sort of like putting the clock on the defensive line, defensive ends. They get a year. But they got to improve, and they got to do it as a unit. That's just me.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Fly Park says it's Aiden Hutchinson, and I'm not even a Lions fan. Well, I appreciate you tapping into the show nonetheless. Catspot says the most important person for the Lions other than Goff is Campbell. It's not a player. Well, that wasn't the question, Catbot. Sorry. What player? Player. Jay Well says Penei Sewell. For me, Tom Kennedy getting a lot of love. Our first Milt Plum vote here. Alex Merrill says Milt Plum all day.
MPAD?
MPAD. All day, baby. Milt Plum all day. DNCENT. Can we petition to get Milt Plum on the wall, like the
super wall?
Yeah, like the.
We'll have to talk to Big J about that, but maybe we could.
Maybe we could. I think that we should. WoodwardSports.com chat thread as well. DNCENT says we have depth at every O-line position. It has to be Laporta, obviously. And see, I don't think that because
I don't think you can put that on a rookie.
Yeah, and they got along. They were fine last year.
Yeah.
They were once Hawk was gone, it was fine. It was a very low-cost position. The production went up, and no one look. The catches may have went down, but goddamn it, the production went up. It went up. It went up in the red zone. It went up with getting the ball across the goal line. You will never change that. You will never change my mind of that. You read my mind right there, Spenmo, with the WoodwardSports.com chat poll. And you didn't even know I was going to say this either. Because for me, it's Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Oh.
And here's the why on it. You look at J-Mo out for that 6 games. You look at his production, what he's on track to be. And not only when you look at his production, how important it is to this football team. In today's day and age, you have to have a dude that gets those numbers. And this is a classic example, I think, of Amon-Ra St. Brown. And D-Mac, you and I talk about this in non-football terms. We talk about it sometimes in real life, where you almost become a victim of your success, where you make things look so easy to the point where everybody just kind of pencils you in for it and they expect it of you. And I'm not saying like you need like a pity prize for Amon-Ra St. Brown or anything like that. It's just it doesn't go underappreciated by me, the prodigy that he seems to be and the production he brings to the party. And D-Mac, it's just there. No one talks about it even, but it's always there.
And you know what it is? But you know why it is there? Because that's the type of person, let alone athlete, that he is, that we see, coming out, that because he can handle it, right? He can handle whatever the pressure is or whatever because when you look at him, he's not going to crumble. He's going to accept that. No, like you need him to be. So what you're saying is you need him to be that Cooper Kupp security blanket to get Jared Goff to continue to evolve to what they've developed now. They've sort of shown the baseline of what they should be and what we expect from that. And you're right. I think that
this guy's
the
Justin
evaluation
catches wise, he's Justin Jefferson, man.
But they're not show catches. They're not over down the field, right? They're work, their business, their grind line, for lack of a better term, meat and potatoes. You need them to be so good, especially the whole season, but especially the first 6 games. Other teams, like he's a guy that other teams that you would think that start to key on because they know how him and Goff's relationship is. So I think you're right, especially in the first 6 games, right, where J-Mo's not there.
And when you look at their wide receiver room, he's the glue that's holding us all together. And then, if you want to get granular about it, then you throw in the rookie contract and the production per dollar and the catch per dollar and all that kind of stuff. And it's just for me because they have to have him. All this talk that we have about playoffs and divisions and 8 cents of every dollar betting them on, to win the Super Bowl at MGM, all of that, and no one talks about it, all of that revolves around Amon-Ra St. Brown because without him, then
right,
what?
He is the sort of the standard or the staple or the backbone, the pillar, right? The foundation to this team, right? The heartbeat to whatever else. If we say that, where's the pulse? Run through it.
No one talks
I get a
about
lot of Chris Draper vibes from Amon-Ra St. Brown, even though Amon-Ra St. Brown is more offensive and more, but it's that work ethic, and it's just that you can put as much pressure on them. It's you got to make a catch, you got to win a draw, some sort of things they can handle it because they're built that way.
Just built different, man.